You're lying awake at 2 a.m., staring at your phone, wondering why someone who seemed so into you suddenly feels like a stranger. You've sent the "hey, just checking in" text. You've asked if everything's okay. You've tried being understanding, giving space, being patient, and somehow, the harder you try, the more they slip away like water through your fingers. But what if I told you there's a hidden psychological dynamic at play that has nothing to do with how much they care about you? What if the very person who's pulling away from you right now is secretly hoping you'll crack a code they can't even articulate themselves? Let me validate something you're feeling right now. Loving an avoidant person is like trying to hug someone through glass. You can see them, you can feel their warmth, but there's always this invisible barrier. And the most painful part? They seem to be the one putting up the glass, yet they're looking at you like they want to break it too. Here's what they don't always tell you about avoidant attachment. These aren't people who don't want love. These are people who learned early that love hurts, that closeness equals loss of self, that being needed means being trapped. Their nervous system is literally wired to perceive intimacy as danger. Avoidant people live in a constant internal war between their conscious mind that says, "I'm fine alone," and their unconscious attachment system that's screaming, "Please don't leave me, but also don't come too close." The secret psychological triggers that flip everything. The first psychological trigger is what researchers call scarcity reversal. Avoidant people are unconsciously attracted to what feels rare and unthreatening. When you chase them, you become abundant and threatening. When you pull back authentically, you become scarce and intriguing. But here's the nuance most people miss. This isn't about playing games. This is about triggering their exploratory attachment system instead of their defensive one. When you stop pursuing, their brain shifts from protect and flee mode to explore and discover mode. A friend discovered this accidentally. After months of trying to understand their avoidant partner's mixed signals, they got exhausted and genuinely focused on themselves. They started rock climbing, joined a book club, planned solo trips. They weren't trying to make their partner jealous, they were trying to remember who they were. 3 weeks later, their partner texted them a photo of a book saying, "This reminded me of our conversation about philosophy." Then they started asking about the climbing adventures. Then they suggested they grab coffee to catch up. The psychological truth? Their partner was no longer defending against their energy because they were no longer directing it at them. For the first time, their partner could be curious about them without feeling hunted. Here's the second trigger that flips their psychology. Emotional regulation becomes deeply attractive to avoidant people because it signals safety. Their attachment system is constantly scanning for signs that you'll become overwhelming, demanding, or emotionally dysregulated. When a friend's avoidant girlfriend would go quiet for days, their old pattern was panic, then anger, then pleading. "Are you okay? Did I do something? Please just talk to me." Each response confirmed her fear that getting close meant becoming responsible for their emotional state. Then they learned something profound. Their emotional stability was more attractive to her than their emotional intensity. The next time she went quiet, they simply lived their life. When she resurfaced, they responded warmly but without relief, drama, or interrogation. Her nervous system registered something it had never experienced before: safety. Someone who could handle her need for space without making it about them. Within days, she was the one initiating deeper conversations. The third trigger is the most powerful: passing their unconscious safety assessment. Avoidant people are constantly, subconsciously testing whether you'll become too much. Every interaction is being evaluated. Will this person respect my autonomy? Will they try to change me? Will they make me responsible for their happiness? When you stop trying to get closer and start genuinely enjoying the connection as it is, you pass a test they didn't even know they were giving. You prove that you can love them without consuming them. Here's what happens in their internal world that they'll never tell you. When you stop chasing, they experience something called phantom limb syndrome in relationships. They realized they'd gotten used to your energy, your attention, your emotional availability. The absence creates a void they didn't know existed. But here's the crucial part. This void doesn't feel threatening like your presence sometimes did. It feels interesting, curious, like something they want to explore rather than defend against. An avoidant friend once told me, "When she stopped trying to get closer to me, I finally had space to miss her. And when I had space to miss her, I realized I actually wanted her around." The deeper psychological truth is this: avoidant people can only choose you when they don't feel chosen by you. They can only move toward you when they don't feel pulled by you. They can only open up when they don't feel pressure to open up. This isn't cruel or manipulative. It's protective. Their attachment system learned that emotional intensity equals danger. So when you become emotionally intense about them, even with love, their system activates every defense mechanism they have. But when your energy is focused on your own life, your own growth, your own happiness, suddenly they can see you clearly. You're not a threat to their autonomy. You're not someone who needs them to be different. You're just someone interesting who happens to be in their orbit. Here's the fascinating part. When you authentically pull back, their brain literally changes. The stress hormones that spike when they feel pressured start to decrease. The nervous system that's been in defensive mode can finally relax. And in that relaxation, something beautiful happens. They can actually feel their feelings for you. One woman described it perfectly. "When he stopped trying to figure me out, I finally had space to figure myself out. And what I figured out was that I missed him." But here's where it gets profound. By the time you've truly mastered this dynamic, you've changed too. You've learned to love without attachment, to care without controlling, to want someone without needing them to want you back. You've discovered that your worth isn't determined by whether someone with attachment issues can handle intimacy. You've realized that the right person won't make you chase them. They'll be too busy trying to keep up with the beautiful life you're building. The most beautiful irony? When you finally become someone who doesn't need them to chase you, that's exactly when they will. Because you've become what they've been searching for their whole life. Someone who can love them without losing yourself. Someone who can want them without needing them to be different. The silence you thought was rejection was actually preparation. The space you thought was abandonment was actually invitation. And the person they're chasing now? That's who you were always meant to be. So here's your choice. Keep trying to convince someone to love you or become someone who doesn't need convincing. Keep chasing someone who's running or become someone worth chasing. The right person won't make you question your worth. They won't make you beg for consistency. They won't make you feel like your love is too much. If this video just cracked something open in your understanding, hit that like button. It tells me this message is reaching the people who need it most. Subscribe because we're diving deep into the psychology of attachment, self-worth, and building relationships that actually feel good. Drop a comment below. What moment in this video hit you hardest?